The leaders of China and Saudi Arabia will hold a historical summit to discuss a massive plan for deeper cooperation between the two countries. It is particularly noteworthy that Saudi Arabia has recently proposed to join the China-initiated Shanghai Cooperation Organization several times, which has led many people to believe that Saudi Arabia may make a major shift in its national security strategy, completely abandon its dependence on the US for security guarantee, build a much closer tie with China, Russia and other countries, and jointly promote the multipolarization of the international community. Saudi Arabia's love affair with the SCO is the latest twist in the Middle East. It should be noted that Saudi Arabia has recently come under great pressure from the West, especially the United States. After the Second World War, the United States considered the Middle East to be its sphere of influence. It constantly pointed fingers at Arab countries in the Palestinian issue, Israel-Arab relations, energy and other fields, and even frequently used force to intervene. This pushed Saudi Arabia, the largest Arab country, and the United States further apart in recent years. Especially recently, the Biden administration's increasing pressure on OPEC and Saudi Arabia to cooperate in bringing down oil prices and Saudi Arabia's leading opposition to interference from the West has strained relations with its traditional ally, the United States. Some in Saudi argue that the United States is no longer a security guarantee for the country, but a threat. At the same time, Saudi Arabia and other Gulf states are making rising profits in Asian markets. Asia has been Saudi Arabia's biggest export market for crude over the past decade, with China being its chief customer. China's steady development has brought fast-growing economic and diplomatic benefits to Saudi Arabia. The multipolar international community and the values of a community of shared future promoted by China are also seen by Saudi as a tool to balance the West in its own affairs. In this context, it is very logical for Saudi Arabia to move closer to an international security organization led by China. The fact that Saudi Arabia does not even care about its longtime foe, Iran, is included in the SCO, shows the determination of Saudi Arabia elites. Obviously, in this context, the SCO's recently launched expansion work can cover the Gulf region and even the entire Arab region, such as the countries in North Africa. In sharp contrast to China's friendly stance, the United States has gradually reduced its military presence in the Middle East due to the weakening of its overall strength, and its domestic radicalization is rampant. In its diplomacy, the United States has become more and more forceful in controlling its Arab allies to compete with China. What is embarrassing for the US is that after threatening Saudi Arabia, Biden and his team sought assistance from Saudi Arabia to reduce oil price, but refused to offer any incentive, and even continued to manipulate Western governments and media to besiege Saudi Arabia. This is obviously furthering forcing Saudi Arabia away. Therefore, it is obvious that the Gulf and Arab countries represented by Saudi Arabia need to seek better and more long-term security guarantee, which provides a great opportunity for the SCO's development in the region. From the perspective of international energy cooperation, which is of great importance to Saudi Arabia, the SCO can also break the old international energy market system in which Saudi Arabia is clamped by the Western world and bring a more stable energy security environment to the world. As mentioned above, Asia is actually the largest energy market for Saudi Arabia now, but it must be acknowledged that the Western world still has a strong control over the international market. In this case, the SCO can certainly bring countries in need closer from the perspective of energy security and build an energy security system that is less interfered by the West so as to benefit more countries rather than relying on the United States and the West in the energy market, which can lead to many headaches to the Saudis. It is expected that this China-Saudi Arabia summit will be a very important meeting for the overall development of the Middle East region. China has made it clear that it supports Saudi Arabia in safeguarding its sovereignty, security and stability, and in finding the development path that suits it best. Again, this is in sharp contrast to America's lofty posture. Not long ago, Saudi Arabia regained its position as China's largest oil supplier, overtaking Russia. This is also a landmark achievement in implementing the concept of cooperation between the two sides. For many countries in the Middle East, China has become not only the most important trading partner, but also a positive force for long-term stability in the region. It will not be a surprise to see China, Saudi Arabia, the Gulf states and Arab states working together under some frameworks to advance their own interests. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, share and comment.